Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my April wrap up for you guys, and I kind of went a little bit crazy in April, but not as crazy as the title of this video may make it seem, because over half of the books that I read this month were actually volumes of manga, which I'm so excited to talk about. You probably all know what it is at this point because I've talked about it already a lot. But aside from those, which I adored, I also got to some really good like normal books this month as well. I feel like I read a lot of different genres, like things that I normally don't reach for. So I'm really excited to talk about all of these books. Look at them. There's so many of them. But before we get into those, I do want to take a quick second to talk about the brand that I'm partnering with for this video, which is Ana Luisa. I have worked with Ana Luisa quite a few times on my channel. Love them so much. I love their pieces. I literally wear them all the time. Like, if there's ever a piece of jewelry that you see that I'm wearing, it's probably from Ana Luisa because I just love their stuff so much. So if you guys don't know, Ana Luisa is a jewelry company with an amazing sustainability mission. I love what they're trying to do for the planet with their brand, and I think it's fantastic. They're completely water neutral and carbon neutral, and all of their packaging is made from 100% recycled materials. I know buying sustainable items is usually pretty pricey, but with Ana Luisa you can start growing your collection with their pieces that start as low as $39. This month they are running a very special campaign, which is what I want to talk to you about, and that is their Mother's Day campaign. They are currently running a buy one get one 60% off sale, so you can snag something for the ones that you love, and I'm so excited to talk about some of the pieces that they have sent me this time around. So the first items that I want to show you are actually a pair of earrings, and these are the Paris Pave earrings. They're like a smaller version of the ones that I'm wearing right now. These are in silver and I love these. But I'm actually gifting these to my mom because they 100% remind me of something that she would wear. I know when I was younger, I used to spend hours raiding her jewelry box, and she had a lot of like gold and sparkly pieces, and instantly I was like, ooh, that's pretty, like I want to look through those. And I definitely like stole some pieces for myself. There are even like a few pieces that I still wear to this day, and I love them and I cherish them, and I think she also loves the fact that her jewelry is like getting a second life. So being able to like give something back to her after all of the earrings that I've stolen from her is just really fun, and I absolutely love these, and I cannot wait to see what she thinks of them. The next item I have is one of the necklaces that I'm wearing, and this is their Earth Pendant necklace. It's just a little like gold medallion on a gold chain, and it has like a little mushroom and a flower and like some leaves of some sort. But I love nature. I love anything with like nature motifs in it, so when I saw this I was like, absolutely. That's so cute. I have to have it. And then I do have another gold necklace from them, and this is the Addison necklace. It's just like a little star on a gold chain, and I love this as well. Like every single gold necklace I have is from Ana Luisa, and I love being able to switch them up. This other gold necklace that I'm wearing right now is also from Ana Luisa, and I absolutely love it. I think it was one of the first pieces I got from them, and it's the Hannah necklace, and I wear it all the time, so absolutely love their gold necklaces. And then the last piece I got from them is this ring that I'm wearing on my pointer finger. I've never gotten a ring from Ana Luisa before, and I've been wearing this nonstop. Like, it is part of my ring rotation now. It's just called their silver rope ring, and I really like it. It also kind of matches my earrings. Like, it's got the same like ropey pattern on it, and I like the coordination that it allows me to have. So I'm absolutely obsessed with this thing, and I just love all of their jewelry. So if you guys liked any of the pieces that you saw here, or you just want to have a look around, you can go to Ana Luisa, which will be linked in the description, and you can use my discount code katieisreadingyt for 20% off of your order. So thank you again so much to Ana Luisa for partnering with me on this video, and let's get into talking about the 22 books that I read in April. Did I even say I read 22 books in like the intro? I don't think so, but I read 22 books. So the first book I have here is actually the book that I just finished yesterday, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I've been meaning to read literally any of Alice Oseman's like actual novels ever since I first read Heartstopper a few years ago. I picked this book up when I went to the library last weekend, and I just randomly started it a few days ago. I was like, we'll just kind of read a few pages and see if I'm liking it. And then I read it in less than 24 hours, and I was like, wow. So basically in this book you're following our main character Frances, who is a very studious and academic person, but in her free time she is a huge fan of this YouTube podcast series called Universe City. And throughout the course of this book you're following Frances as she's coming to the end of her high school experience, trying to figure out what she wants to do after. You're also following like the more fun side of her life, where she ends up meeting the creator of Universe City. Turns out it's the guy that lives right across the street from her. She ends up doing fan art for the series, and they just become really close friends, and I really liked seeing their friendship develop over the course of this book. I just really liked both of them as main characters. I just feel like this book tackles so many different topics in such a relatable and accessible way, and even as somebody who is obviously not in high school, I'm almost done with college. Like, there are certain aspects to this book that I'm like, I've already done it. Like, I can't necessarily relate to it. I still feel like I got something out of this book, and I just really enjoyed my time reading it. It definitely deals with like academic pressures put on teens from lots of different sources. It deals with fandom culture, which I thought was really interesting because I've been a part of many a fandom in my day. So it was just like really interesting to see that portrayed in a book. It deals with topics of sexuality as well, and I just thought it was a very interesting read, and I'm so glad that I decided to pick this up. I also found it to be a very easy read. Like, I really just kind of fell into it. I wanted to read more. It doesn't really have like too much of a plot, but I was kind of vibing with it. I was like, that's good. I can work with this. The only thing is, and this like didn't really mess with my star rating at all, this is more of like a, just a note, is that the way that they talk is very, like, it grates on my nerves a little bit, because they say the phrase, yeah, a lot, like a ton. And I know, like, as a teenager, I probably talked like that. I probably still talk like that a little bit, but seeing it like in writing, it was a little bit infuriating at times. But I understand why the choice was made, because it definitely helps to portray the idea that like they're awkward teenagers. But aside from that, I really enjoyed this, and I'm so glad that I finally picked it up. The next book that I have here is a reread, and that is Six of Crows, because me and Cass decided to make this the Wyverns and Words book club pick for April. I really enjoyed my reread of this. I would still say it's a 4-star. I have been trying to pinpoint for like years now why this book isn't a 5-star for me, because there's so many aspects to this that I love. Because like the characters are great, they have really complex backstories, and I feel like they're really well fleshed out. But there's just something about this that I'm like, it's not 5 stars, and I still have yet to figure out why. But if you don't know what Six of Crows is about, it follows, you know, 6 miscreants in the streets of Ketterdam, and they are presented with this opportunity to make a crap ton of Kruga, which is like what the money is called in this world, and go on a heist to retrieve this guy who is making this like really addictive drug for Grisha in this universe, who are like their magic users, and you're just following them being badasses and insane. Like, everybody in this book is absolutely crazy, and I love them for it, but like rereading it, I'm like, oh, right, I forgot about this. But it's fun, it's got a really good found family aspect to it, and I just enjoyed my reread. But I think almost like so many people have read Six of Crows, so that's all I'll say. Just know it was a good time. The next books I read are very exciting because I finally finished the first era of Mistborn, and I read The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages. The only thing is, I gave both of these books 4 stars. I really loved them. Like, Mistborn as a whole is a fantastic series, but I did not love either of these books nearly as much as I enjoyed The Final Empire. And I've talked about this in like both of the vlogs in which I've read these, so I won't like harp on it too much. But like, The Final Empire was an absolute 5 out of 5 stars. I adored that book. It was so interesting and a great introduction to the series. And with The Well of Ascension, it's very political. I do think it drags a bit in the middle. I think the characters do carry this series a bit, as well as the magic system, but there was a lot of politicking in this book, and I don't normally enjoy political-based fantasy that much. So going into this one, I knew it was gonna be a 4 stars. Like, it was still great, but just not quite there. And then a few days ago, I finished The Hero of Ages, which I also gave a 4-star. And I think I've kind of pinpointed why I gave it a 4-star. And that's that our 2 main characters didn't necessarily take a backseat, because they were still like main points of view, but I feel like there were just a lot of points of view introduced into this book. And even in The Well of Ascension, like, there were like a decent amount of points of view, but I feel like you were still following our main 2 characters. But in this one, there was like one character that kind of like got his time to shine, and I thought that was interesting. But I just love Vin, and are the main character, so much. I just think she's so interesting and complex, and I could read a lot of books about like Vin on her own, but the fact that, you know, even though she was a main character, she got, I feel like, less page time than she does in the other books in this series, like in my opinion at least. And I wanted more from her. I also think I hyped myself up a bit too much for the ending of Mistborn, because I've heard countless people talk about how amazing it is, and like, it is so good, but I think I got a little too excited. So when it came, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I wasn't like absolutely blown away, you know what I'm saying? So it just, I just don't know. And it makes me really sad because I really liked The Final Empire. But like these two books, I was kind of just like, they're really good. Like I can recognize that they're really good. Mistborn has like one of my absolute favorite magic systems because it has to do with like ingesting metals and you get different powers from those different metals. There's also like different magic systems used in this world as well, and getting information about those slowly over the course of this series was so fascinating. I feel like the history of this world is so well thought out and it's so complex. Like there's a lot going on. But these just weren't quite what I wanted them to be. Like I'm not disappointed in them, but I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was still really great though, but I think like at this point in time, Stormlight remains my favorite Brandon Sanderson series. Of course I need to read more of Stormlight, but like these were really good. I'm gonna stop talking about it because like I don't know. The next book I have to talk about is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. I actually ended up giving this book a 5 stars. Like it's kind of like a 4.5 rounded up to a 5, but I just really enjoyed this. I don't know if I've ever read a young adult thriller before. Like I've read adult thrillers, I've read like young adult mysteries, but like never a proper young adult thriller. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time reading this book. Basically, you're following our 6 main characters as they're taking a road trip in an RV to their spring break destination. And on the way, they end up making a wrong turn and they get stuck somewhere. So at first they're like, oh, what's going on? Maybe you have a flat tire, then bam, someone starts shooting at them. And it's just like, it goes from there. It was so fast paced, so like edge of my seat. I had to know what was gonna happen next. Basically, in order to get out of this situation that they're in, they have to tell like their assailant. Is that what they could be called? Yeah, I think that would work. Wow. One of them has to reveal a secret that the assailant is trying to get out of them. And throughout the course of this book, obviously everybody's like, oh my god, is it me? Like, is it my dirty secret that they want that nobody else knows? And they all start to like slowly reveal them. And they're, honestly, some of them are like really juicy. I ended up really enjoying like a lot of the characters. I feel like for the length of this book, like they were decently well fleshed out. Towards the beginning, I wasn't too like invested in them as characters, but like towards the end, I was kind of like, okay, like I want to see good things happen to you and I want to see bad things happen to you. Can I say that this month I have found 2 new characters that I would add to my list of characters that I want to fist fight. And one of them in this book, his name is Oliver. I hate that man, like he gets on my nerves. And then the other one, who I forgot to say, is Carol. In Radio Silence, like me and Carol are gonna take it outside because I have issues with Carol, like literally worst mom of the year. But tangent aside, I just really ended up enjoying this book, and if you're looking for a YA thriller, I would absolutely recommend picking this one up. I'm also super excited to pick up A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm really hoping to like read that series for a vlog really soon, so be on the lookout, I guess, for that. The next book I read is a little romance book, and that is The League of Gentlewoman Witches by India Holton. I definitely called this the Gentle League of Women Witches, like at multiple times on this channel so far, so if you notice that, don't mind it. Basically, this is the second book in like a companion series, the first one being The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. These are like historical romance books with like an element of magic in them because, at least in the first book, there were flying houses. And in this one, you have witches who can do like, you know, normal witch magic, and it's really fun. Basically, you're following our main character, Charlotte, who in the beginning of the book bumps into this pirate whose name is Alex. They have some banter, they don't like each other, whatever. Then at some point throughout the book, there's like this, what is it, amulet that they're both after. But honestly, like, that part of the plot's not that important because I feel like that's kind of just a reason as to why they're hanging out, because the majority of this book is just like romance and it's a really fun time. Like it's really weird. It's a really like random book essentially. So if that's not something you think you would like, definitely wouldn't recommend. But if you like things that are a little bit kooky, I would absolutely recommend this book. I think I gave it like a 3.75. I liked the first one in the series a bit more, but this one was still really fun. And I'll absolutely be picking up the third one, which just came out recently. I don't know what it's called though. but I know it's purple. The next thing I have here is Orange, the Complete Collection, Volume 2 by Ichigo Takano. I read the first collection last month and I really enjoyed it, so obviously I had to pick up the second collection and kind of finish it out. Basically, these are like bind-ups of like the normal volumes of manga, but they don't sell them individually in the US, so they only come in these bind-ups. But basically, this is like a sci-fi contemporary romance set in a high school type of situation. So you're following this group of friends who one day goes home and they get these letters from themselves 10 years in the future, which are detailing things that they need to do and things that they need to say on like certain days in order to avoid this very tragic accident that has happened to one of their friends. It's very heartwarming in some points. It's also very sad in some points. It deals with some heavy topics, so I'd absolutely recommend checking out the trigger warnings before you pick this up, but I just think it is it's such a lovely little story. Sad, but nice, I guess. It was really good. I really liked it. Next up here I have another Brandon Sanderson, and that is The Emperor's Soul. This is a standalone entry in the Cosmere, and I think it takes place on the same planet that like Elantris takes place, but they're not connected in any way. So, or maybe they are, but they're not connected in any like significant way to where like you have to read one before the other. So I haven't read Elantris yet, but I saw this at the library and I decided to pick it up because I thought it sounded very interesting. Basically, you're following our main character who has gotten into some trouble. She is thrown in jail and she's going to be executed the next day. But in this world, they have this kind of magic which is called forging, where I don't even know how to explain it, to be honest, because it's kind of like, it's a really cool concept. Like, I love the magic in this, but at first I was like, what's going on? So basically, in this world, if you're a forger, you can change the history of certain items to impact their state in like the present day. So to give you guys an example, our main character changes the wall of the cell that she's been held in to like, it's like a very nice like painted mural. Because as she was flipping through like a logbook or something on like the history of certain renovations that were made to the room, she found out that at some point somebody had painted like a really nice mural on the wall. But later it got painted over, so she changed the history of the room so that it never got painted over, so that in the present day, that wall mural was still there. If that makes sense. Like, up here, I understand it, but like verbally, I do not know how to explain it very well. But it's definitely really cool. And in this book, you are following her as she does something a bit more complex with forgery, because she is trying to forge a new soul for the Emperor, as the title suggests. And I just really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 5 stars. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about another Brandon Sanderson novella, because the first one I read, I didn't like, you know, I didn't love it. It wasn't bad. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. I feel like the characters were pretty fleshed out for how short it was. I feel like the plot was very complete and it was just really interesting. Like the magic system's like the thing that like really drew me in, but I just really liked it overall. Next up, I also read volume 9 of Spy Family by Tetsuya Endo. This I also didn't give a rating. I liked volume 9, I really did. But I feel like the more I read of Spy Family, the less I enjoy of it. And it's really sad because I love the characters so much. Like, the characters are fantastic. The dynamics between them are really fun. But these last few volumes have not been hitting in the same way that the first ones did. And I just, like, it's fine. Spy Family has definitely moved down on my list of favorite manga, mainly because I haven't read a lot of manga. And this next thing I'm gonna talk about absolutely eclipses it. Like, let me just talk about it real quick, because this is absolutely my new favorite manga series, and I think it might be one of my new favorite just like series in general, which is insane because I never thought I would enjoy manga that much, but like here we are. I'm obsessed. It's like all I think about. It's stunning. And that is Yona of the Dawn. I had heard Bella from Throne of Pages talk about it, and then I've also heard Hannah from A Clockwork Reader talk about it a ton, and I was like, they're both raving about it, so like maybe I should check it out. So I read the first volume, I really liked it, and then I watched the entirety of the first season of the anime, and I'm obsessed with it. So then when I finished that, I kind of picked up where the anime left off in the manga. I do eventually want to go back and read like those volumes that I missed, but I was like, I just consumed this. So I'm just gonna like continue on with the rest of these. And I ended up reading like 12 volumes of Yona of the Dawn this month. So I read volume 1, and then after I watched the anime, I read volumes 9 through 19, so a lot. I do have some of them here. This is volumes 14 and 19, I think, just because I'm gonna collect physical copies of some of them, but not all of them because like it's a really long series, but these are just 2 that I decided I needed. So aside from me just like, you know, freaking out about it, let me like actually tell you what it's about. So basically it is a historical fantasy romance kind of series. In the beginning you're following our main character Yona. Is she on any of these? There she is. There's Yona. She's so cute. Who is a princess of her kingdom, and one day something very tragic happens and she has to flee the kingdom with her bodyguard Hawk, and it goes from there. They meet some friends along the way, and it's just like, it's so good. So many of the tropes in it are tropes that I absolutely love. So basically you've got like bodyguard romance, childhood friends to lovers, found family, like it's so good. I love all of the characters so freaking much, and it is, I cannot wait to read some more volumes of it. I have like 6 volumes of it coming in the mail today because I simply cannot be stopped. It is so good. So if you guys have been wanting to start a new manga series, I would highly recommend you start Yona of the Dawn because it's absolutely stunning. I know this has been like coming out for years and I'm late to the trend, but it's really good. I love it. So this book I wanted to save for last because this is absolutely like, I have no words as for this. I read Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I buddy read this with my friend Elaine. Like, this is not the kind of book that I'm just gonna like pick up on my own and like randomly read, but we were trying to figure out what we should read after we finished House of Sky and Breath. And we were like, that one wasn't very good. We need something like fun, fast-paced, kind of in the fantasy romance realm, but just different. So unfortunately it was me that suggested we read Ice Planet Barbarians for a good laugh. And it really was a good laugh. Like, honestly, enjoyment levels were very high, but like it's not a good book. But it was so, like, it was so funny. And just absolutely ridiculous. Like, would I recommend this to people? Like, no, because it's not that well written. I feel like our characters are just kind of like there. I don't know. I was also talking about this with Elaine and she feels like the exact same way. And being able to like talk about everything that was happening in this book, like with somebody who was also actively reading it, like made it really fun. Like, it was kind of a silly, goofy time. Those are all of the books that I've managed to read this month. Obviously, my favorite has been all the volumes of Yona of the Dawn that I've read. And I don't really think I have a least favorite, so pretty successful reading month, I would say. I hope you guys have also had a successful reading month. I would love to know what you guys have been reading. You could let me know your favorite book, or if you're feeling shady, I would also love to know your least favorite book that you read this month. Also, thank you again so much to Ana Luisa for partnering with me on this video. If you want to use the link in the description and use my code katieisreading20, you can get 20% off of your order. And yeah, I think that is everything. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.